In Lesson 3.11, you saw how you can use server.transfer and response.redirect to send values between pages. Session is another way of transferring values between pages, but session values don't just travel between pages, they remain in place for as long as a user's session lasts. When a user first sends a request to the web server, they are assigned a session, which keeps track of them until it has been 20 minutes since their last request. The session is then said to have timed out. To begin, open the C# test sample file from your sample files folder. And open the code behind file of passdata1.aspx. Remove the line of code that is currently in the button send click event handler and replace it with the following: session, begin square brackets, begin inverted commas, text, end inverted commas, end square brackets, equals text box text dot text semicolon. This code stores the contents of text box text dot text, that is, the text the user types into the text box, in session under the key of text. Session keys work in exactly the same way as the viewState key you used in Lesson 3.9. Open the code behind file of passdata4.aspx. And add the following code to the page load event handler. Label received data.text equals session, begin square brackets, begin inverted commas, text, end inverted commas, end square brackets, dot toString. This code will retrieve the value stored under the text key from session and display it in a label control on the page. Note that this code would cause an exception if there was no value in session stored under the text key. To avoid any errors, you'd ideally use an if statement to check for a null value before accessing session. You'll learn about if statements in Lesson 7.1, and you'll learn more about null in Lesson 5.12. Return to the code behind file of passdata1.aspx and add the following line of code to the button send click event handler. Page.response.redirect passdata4.aspx. As you learned in Lesson 3.10, this will send the user to the passdata4 page after placing the contents of the text box control under session text. Passdata4.aspx will then retrieve the value from session and display it. View the page in your browser now. Change the text in the text box if you wish. And click Send to Next Page. As you can see, the data has been sent to passdata4.aspx, which has retrieved it from session and displayed it. Note that because session values persist for the user's entire session, it's not always appropriate to use them. Remember that your server will have to remember every session value you set for every user on your site. It might seem like one session value wouldn't make much difference, but if you have thousands of people using your site, they will mount up. It is best to only use session to store values that need to be used across your entire site. Remember that by default, after 20 minutes of inactivity, a user's session will be removed, along with any session values. You've now completed Lesson 3.12. use session.